Hey there, YouTube, PD Two Finger here, and I run guitar modelers, so I don't like running them into amplifiers, or guitar amplifiers, I should say. I like a full range speaker or a studio monitor. So today, something came in the mail. It's this little amp, which was just a couple of dollars. I believe it was $3 for this amplifier. It's a TDA 2050, which is rated at 34 watts. Now, I'm not saying when I finish this product I'm going to have a 34 watt device. And really, to be honest, I mean, I want it to be more quiet. This is supposed to be something that I can play in the apartment, or if I want to take it out and crank it, if I want to go to a remote location with it, like throw it in the car, be able to plug it into the cigarette lighter, pop the tailgate and jam. This is a viable and very good sounding. So yeah, this is the amp module. It was $3. There's screw terminals for the inputs and outputs, so it's pretty handy to hook up. This is the speaker unit. It's something that I got used at a Salvation Army. So when it's all put together, it looks like this. You pop the screen off, and to do that, I always use a pick tool, something like this, or where's the orangey guy? Where did he go?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, I got this here. Something like this. They've got Dum Dum, which is like a rubberized black tar substance that holds that in. So you stick this in and pry each end up. You keep going around and prying, and eventually that'll come out and reveal these screws. So you remove the speaker. One of them, this thing had been dropped, and one of the speakers was inoperative. It did not work. I actually monkeyed with it and got it working. And in that, I've implemented duct tape to hold the chassis together on the one. I think it fell. This whole shield, this is shielding to keep the magnetism away from your monitor. This one was all crooked and it was jacked. So I jacked it back in, popped it in, and then the speaker was fine. There was no more crunch when I pressed it in. So I just taped the shit out of it, and it's been good ever since then. So there's a decent sized magnet on this tweeter. Here's a coil. There's a coil here that's part of the crossover. There's a capacitor on the other side over here, the capacitor, and then this nice size tweeter. So this, it's rated at 60 watts. I'm running this it's rated at 34 watt. And originally I had, the reason I ordered this was because it has a volume potentiometer on here, so I can turn it down. Again, this is not a dick measuring contest. It's not like I've got a 100-watt thing, you know. If we want to go that way, I can play that game, and I've got big boy amps that are made by Yamaha and Roland, and I got an old Philharmonic tube amp. I've got other tube gear. I've got all that stuff that's not really, if you're coming here to mock me because I'm playing around with this. This is something I'm going to use in the apartment. I'm going to use when I make patches, because it's going to give me like when I play quote unquote live, I'm playing through a PA system. I'm not using a guitar amp. So if you're a big tube amp guy, you're really in the wrong place. You know. Anyway, I need to be able to get past that in the beginning of the video, just so you understand what I'm doing. And this information is not for me to brag. Look at what I did. I'm so awesome. This is so, if you're a guitar player and you've got a modeler and you're playing through an amp, and you eventually find out, you learn, like, hey, you're not really supposed to do that. But you don't have money to go out and buy a set of studio monitors for $300 or $500. This is something you could do with your old center channel speaker that you've got laying around. Order one of these little amp boards and install it on the inside, because it's very easy to do. All you need is a power input jack. In this case, I got a 2.1 mil DC jack, 5.5 outer diameter, 2.1 mil inner diameter. Those are rated for 12 volts. And then I've just got a 6.35 or quarter inch connector here. So, yeah, there is a twisted pair of red and black wires coming off of the DC connector, and same thing for the audio input. And then there's these heavier gauge wires. Two of these hook up to the speakers, and the other two hook up to the amp. So in this case, the only bump in the road was the threading, the width of the threading on the potentiometer was not very long, and this is very thick plastic. So that's where a Forstner bit comes in handy, and I had it on the drill. Do you know where the drill? Oh, there it is. You want to just hand me that? So you pre-drill a small hole, and then this is the Forstner bit, and what it'll do is it will make a hole that looks like this. I don't know if you can see that, how there's a smaller center hole and then a wider. So what that enables it to do is I pop this board in here, and then I can actually thread the washer, and the nut will thread on here and secure it, because I've removed all that plastic in that circle around that area. So that's called a Forstner bit. So then basically what I'm going to do at this point now, like I had, you know, we popped the thing out, and then here's the original amp. This is a TDA 2030. They were $1 or $1.17. Now they're $1.79. After COVID, things from China became more expensive to ship. So this has 4 little connections here that are all bent up and soldered. Those 4 connectors. Two of those are grounds. One is VCC, which is your voltage in, your positive. The other is the audio input. Okay, and then on the far side is the speaker connector. So this is very simple. You drill out a hole big enough for your guitar jack and install the guitar jack. Then you drill out a hole big enough for the DC jack and install the DC jack. Hopefully you pre-soldered some wires onto those. Then you take those wires, you solder the ground from the power input onto this ground side, and then the VCC is the hot wire. You know, you could put in a switch, you could put in a fuse. I didn't. The pair of wires coming from the input go to the ground and input connections. And then the speaker wires just simply tie in. You tighten those up. And I used some double-sided tape. Now, what I realized was how loud it was. It was way too loud with this. This is rated at 17 watts, and man, it was, I don't know what I was getting. Like, I don't do the math. This isn't a dick measuring contest. It's kind of hacking. But it was way too freaking loud. I was having to turn everything down. And then in the NUX software, their editing software, there's no way to turn down this system noise. It's like a critical stop noise that you get if you click on one of the icons at a wrong, inopportune moment. It will do this like their NUX's version of a Windows critical stop, like a dong. And it was so, it was mind-numbingly fucking loud. Like literally I thought somebody was going to call the cops from this critical stop noise. And there's no way to turn that down. So I emailed NUX about it. I was like, you need to turn your system sounds down. You know, it's not serving much purpose. Here's one. How about just don't have anything happen when you do that? Because people are going to be plugging this shit into fucking PA systems and stacks. You know, that critical stop. It's so. Hopefully that doesn't happen to anyone. There is a set and forget potentiometer on here, and ultimately, you know, this is all SMT. It's like really kind of tight. I could have clipped that out of there and then soldered wires onto the posts, and that's how I would do that. I wouldn't unsolder it. I would just cut it and leave little nubbies sticking up something to grab onto with a little drop of solder, put a little flux on there, and you're ready to go, and then hot glue. And then you would run those 3 wires up to your own potentiometer. Okay. And I could have done that, but I really wanted to get a beefier amp just in case. I mean, this is rated at 60 watts peak, 50 watts, 50 peak watts. You figure it can handle 34. That's what this puts out maximum. And I think that's at a 24 volt supply. I'm not sure. So that'll probably be like 10 amp, 24 volts, you know. Paraceal lead acid batteries would do it, or my e-bike battery. But the point being that this particular amp was too loud. I opened it up and turned it down once, and then I was like, you know what? If I moved it, I could get at it with a long Phillips screwdriver through these holes for the port. If I mounted it in the middle, in the bottom, I could go in here and get at that adjuster. So I did just that. I had been in and out of this thing quite a few times, and once I got it where I could actually get in there and adjust it, and I adjusted it, then I decided that this smaller amp, this TDA 2030, I think this is, would be more suited for one of my little noisemaker projects. And I make these little electronic slide whistles. I put a PT2399 delay in there. It's like an LED and then a light sensor, and you move those inside of an antenna. So it's like kind of like a slide whistle sound effect device, or just noisemaker. And this, you know, it's not a bad amp. It really isn't. But I would rather use this for something smaller. If I'm playing my guitar, at least something with that heatsink on it. I like that a little better, right? So that's what we're going to be doing today. I am going to, here's the power wire. And do you guys want to stick around and watch me work for a minute, or do you want to get out of here? Audio in. So we've got a black and a red wire. And it looks like red is closest to the potentiometer. So I just had a really great screwdriver for this job. No, it was a yellow and black, like a small regular. Yeah, it was a black, like a precision from the dollar store. That's what it was. Anyway, we'll go ahead and use this. So this is solderless connections, which is to be honest, I would rather solder a connection, but for certain things, for larger gauge speaker wires, I like these. These wires have been tinned, so they've got big gloopy chunks of solder on them, which will enable me to give something for these screws, these fasteners, to bite down on. So there, that's the first one. It's actually very nice and tight and secure. I'm just going to double check. That's my input, and it's going to the audio in, and we have it marked plus. So there you go. We've got that done. Now we have the power, and it looks like we have audio out and then DC in. It's really difficult to see the markings on this board, so I'm going to use a flashlight. Okay, so the plus side is closer to the back of the board. Plus in the back. And it looks like these are already open, so I don't need to open them up. Just insert the wire and tighten. See how much fun this is, amp building with Petey? I'll tell you what, building amps is it's my favorite thing. Pedal building is really fun. It's so rewarding when you're finished with a pedal. When you put the knobs on it, it's like, you know, from start to finish, like this was an incredible amount of thought that went through this process. Pedal building it's a love-hate thing with me. I've had some doozies, and I just got to the point where my back pain, you know, like a project like this have ultimately taken about an hour is perfect for me at this point, because I have this chronic pain, which kind of takes the fun out of it. So here we are inserting the audio out connections, which go to the speakers. And those are some bulky wires. Actually, these are recycled wires. I use all my wire is recycled, and the speaker wires are usually, I mean, anything that's running 12 volt or speaker output. Sometimes I use a lamp cord for a speaker wire. Now in this case, it doesn't really warrant that like AC cable, like that super large wire. So I'm using wire that's donated from a computer power supply. When you get a computer power supply, let's say it's a 300 watt out of an old Dell or something, usually I'll open them up and try to snip that wire right at the base so I can get the maximum length of it, and then I'll cut off the connectors with a large gauge snips. I don't want to damage my more precise snips like these guys. Look at that. That's sexy, huh? Look at these little guys. Aren't they cute? So yeah, I would never want to cut. Certain tools I baby them. I baby certain tools. So we've got all 6 wires are good. And now I'm going to insert the amp module into the hole and lovingly drop in here's where the having a deep well 10 millimeter socket is going to really, you really have to have that for this job here. And there you go. So here's the deep well. Now we need to, everything's in place. Let me see if I can get a flashlight. You guys can really get a look at how crooked everything is in there. But you know what? You're not going to be able to tell when you hear it. There's the amp. There it is. And I just checked after I ordered this amp. I don't think we need to super glue that. Oh, that stuff's all fine. It's all fine. I checked after I had ordered that amp, and they when I bought it, it was like $2 or $3. I think it was $3, like $2.99, and it was free shipping. And I went back and looked, and believe it or not, the free shipping deal is gone. And they were charging like $3.99 shipping. I couldn't believe how much the shipping was. I forgot that.
That thing by the land?
Yep.
We have to get up. I mean, I don't know what it is.
So, I've got this is acoustic insulation. You know what, baby? And I have that note on there.
We need to test that.
We could test it.
Screw it all in.
Yeah, we could. Let's see how this insulation goes in here. I think it just like sits. Like there was no adhesive or tape or anything. It was just sitting in there. So why don't you get me the Zoom G. It's over there, the Zoom. And then there's yeah, so we can test this real quick. I won't be running the new X through it, but I've got a power supply here. It's honey, it's on top of the monitor on the right,
Oh, there.
the speakers. I have a red cable here somewhere.
Here.
Thank you. And down there is the power supply.
Which one? This giant thing?
Yes, yes. There's that one's got two cables. And it should say 12.
I can't read it upside down.
12 volt, 2 amp. Well, just about perfect for this. Now, right now, the this master volume is set on 84 on this, so it's kind of loud. I normally I run this around 50. I had it turned up because I was recording. Here's a clean with some spring reverb. So there you go. That's if I was going to collectively, I paid $5 for the speaker. I paid $3 for the amp module. The power supply, I'm guessing I paid 99 cents for at Goodwill. And then the Zoom, the most important element in that recipe, was $49. Okay, so it's not cheap when you add the Zoom in, but if you've got stuff like this laying around, if you've got a similar type of speaker, which is anything that's a full range stereo speaker, something that's rated more than 20 watts. Like, I really don't like playing around with lower rated wattage speakers to plug a guitar into, because you can easily blow them if you get carried away and start pretending that you're in a band and you need that kind of volume. That's when you'll roach these types of speakers out. They can't handle it. Especially, you'll fry your tweeter is what you'll find the first thing to go. So when you build something like this, you build it with the screws, the chassis screws. You build it with that knowledge that.
Those were bad.
What do you mean they were bad?
Those were out of the 3 bad ones, those were 2 of them. And then we used the rest.
Okay. So, like I was saying, when you build these things, you build them with that knowledge, and you use them with the respect that it's not. This isn't Evel Knievel at the Snake River Canyon amp. You know what I mean? It's a practice device. It's more of a personal amp. It's not for performance. But the quality of the sounds that you can get is really excellent. It's really something. The sounds that are on here are not the best, I have to tell you. The Nux New X, when I played that through here, man, did it sound good. It really does sound good. The thing with that New X MG 300, nothing on it sounds bad. Everything on it sounds fantastic. Every single thing on there. They don't give you a real lot, but all of it just sounds really good. Really good. I apologize. I have that set up over there with the power supply for recording. I'm not going to be demoing it, but hey, you get the idea. And if this is the type of stuff that interests you, I would really appreciate you subscribe. This channel it's all about this. This is what I really love doing, is building the gear to make music. I need some toothpicks. So please subscribe, and I love it when people comment. I would love to see your version of this. And keep in mind, you don't have to order the amp. You can reuse it. You can take apart a clock radio, tape deck, whatever you want to do, as long as it's not going to start a fire or you're going to get shocked from it. Really, stuff that plugs into the mains, we want to stay away from. Now, one of the problems that I ran into here is that the screws are stripped. I've taken this thing apart so many times, so I'm going to be taking a screw. First, I'll insert the toothpick into the hole, and then I will start screwing. And in the past, I've done this before. I've never done it with plastic, per se. I've only done this with wood, but I'm going to guess that this is going to help me to these types of tools are great. But to be honest, when I'm starting and when I'm finishing a fastener, I really prefer to use a manual tool rather than a power tool. And something like this screwdriver that I have in my hand here, this is the one that, this is the screwdriver that actually works. You know, it's, so the stuff like this is really nice. Like I love this. This is my favorite, but for getting stuff started or stubborn screws or the let's say it's the first time you've ever cracked this thing and you know you've never opened these screws before. You just got a hold of this, whatever it is. A screwdriver like that is going to be invaluable for your tool collection. And they're also not easy to find, those type of screwdrivers. What you're going to find is the more little pea shooter ones, you know, nowadays. They tend to not really, although this does look like it's a more modern design, but that's, yeah, so the toothpick trick is working. And I believe that this is the last time I'm ever going to be hopefully this will be it for my adventures inside of this speaker. It seems like are we short one? Oh no, here it is. It seems like I've been in this thing way more than and I finally remembered shot me in the neck. I finally remembered to put my acoustic insulation inside. So here we go with the speaker grill, and now all I need to do, honey, would you want to go grab me the knobs? Now all I really need to do is put a knob on here. Also, there is a Klon styled knob, which is up on. Go ahead and grab the knobs. Thank you, darling. So yeah, I've got a Klon, it's a little brown knob with a little pointer that comes off of it, and it's got a set screw. And that knob, I found it, I have no idea how that knob, it didn't come off of one of my Klons. I really don't know the story on that. Why do I have extra Klon knobs? I have two Klon clones kits that use those style of knobs, and I don't remember ordering those knobs unless maybe I ordered some. But yeah, we need to grab that Klon style knob. Here's a Marshall style. Yeah, this just barely fits in here. Oh, I had it at the Okay, there we go. Now I've got a Marshall style knob on here, which really it feels, they're great. Those Marshall style knobs have great knob feel, I would call it. They just feel great. Now that Klon style, did you find it?
No, I asked you where it was.
It's up on the ledge next to the compressor and the gate, the EQ. No, the noise gate and the EQ.
Oh, yeah, up on top.
Yeah. Here it is. This is the Klon style knob. Chocolate brown, beautiful knob. And here's, I'll let you see my stash. Those are my knobs. It's probably like, I don't know, $4,000 worth of plastic. So, do we still have power?
Oh, I didn't put it.
Yeah. Way longer than it needs to be, this video. Where's the zoom?
Oh, I put it back.
Sorry, Gomti, you're really doing good in
Like
this.
7 times during your video.
Oh, poor baby. Thank you. Thank you, darling. I appreciate your helping. I've got this, I don't know if it's a business card holder, but yeah, I keep some pics in there. Whoa! Now, I don't have the... So yeah, um, the point of this is if you have something like this laying around or you do resale shopping, keep your eyes peeled, especially after Christmas for center channel speakers, ones of good quality when they're rated high, they have high ratings on them. You could very cheaply order one of these amp boards from China. And chances are, if you're a guitar player, you have a modeling device here, and this is something you can pair with it instead of using a beginner 15-watt combo amp with a guitar speaker, because these devices have the guitar speaker in it. That's what the cabinet modeling is. So when you run something like this through a guitar amp, you're doubling up on that, and it just makes it sound awful. When you play it through something like this, this is closer to what it was. This product was designed to run through like a studio monitor. I read that there's these amp modelers send out all this high frequency information to model the amps, and that's why you need that tweeter. So it's just a fact of life. And for the $8 that I put into this, and you're not here in the room with me, but it sounds exceptional. Doesn't it sound good?
Yeah, it does really.
It sounds very clear and very crisp.
Clean. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and that's really what I don't get when I plug this thing into my other amps, with the exception of like my JC amps. My Roland Jazz Chorus amps, I've got a JC50 and a JC120, and these types of devices really, really excel in that environment. So I hope you found this enjoyable. If you want to subscribe, hit the bell. Great. I'll see you around. Take care of yourself. Hug your pets, and peace. Oh, yeah. I recorded the night song for my new album, so that's coming up soon. Hope to see you for that. Take care of yourself.